Brothers and sisters, thank you for joining me for part 7 on creation balance. And in this video, I have been instructed to go back and elaborate more on how we heal our energy field and the broken heart. So as I explained in, I believe it was video number 3, it was about how the heart, our heart center, those 4 chambers, how they are flatlined and we become out of balance. When we become out of balance with male and female energy that lives within us, we cannot function at our full capacity. So when we receive messages, we're not fully dialed into heaven because there's disruptions. And so with that, then the messages don't come through as clear as the sea of glass that they're supposed to. They come through with interruption and static, and then we are not able to fully activate our spiritual gifts because our menorahs are not fully lit. So this is how to get back into creation balance and how to heal our heart centers so that our menorahs can be fully lit. Okay, so I'm going to use this whiteboard again, and if you haven't watched 1 through 6, I encourage you to go back and watch those. Okay, so hopefully you can see this board. I'll turn it a little bit, maybe move this forward a little bit. So let's see if that is going to work or not. Okay, so over here on this side, we have the healed menorah, which is what Christ was in, is this perfect balance of male and female energy. So this is a healed menorah. Our light is able to move freely through us. The energy of Father and Mother, their light runs through us uninterrupted from the world. So it is you're in complete alignment with them, and it is uninterrupted. Okay. So what we're going to do today is talk about how we get back to a healed menorah once our heart center has been damaged by the world. So I'm going to take you over to this is an unhealed energy filled menorah. So the light, you see there are disruptions, and the light has been disrupted within this within the candlestick, our menorah. Okay, and how is this done? Okay, so what was Joshua teaching when he taught, he will divide the wheat from the tares, and he will, bind the tares and burn them. Okay, well, what is the tares? And what is the wheat? So the wheat is the good seeds that were planted in us. They're the eternal truths that remained, that were within us, staying true to certain aspects of our true authentic self. And this is what Joshua had to learn. So what are the tares? The tares are what the world does when we enter the world. They veil us, and that comes through all different ways. It comes through schooling, religion. It comes through the food we eat. It comes through the beliefs and suppressions of men, their desires for your life. So in the very first teaching I did after the video, or after the dream in October of 21, was on how the world is, the veil comes from the world. It does not come from Father and Mother. It comes from the veiling of the world and the false traditions and beliefs and other people's ideas for your life. And so that is how we get the generational curses. Okay, sorry, there was someone at the door. So these tares are created from generational curses, false traditions of the fathers. So that is the wheat that is going to be divided from the tares. So these tares are what created gaps, or separations in our energy field, separations from our true authentic self of who we are. Because the goal is to get back to our true authentic self, which is what Joshua taught. He was back to his true authentic self, and male and female energy was in perfect alignment and balance. Okay, so how do we do this? How do we heal an energy field? So we are taken through, when we go through our awakening process, the purpose is to heal the brokenhearted. Well, how is this done within us? So this is done directly by, Yahshua awakening us. And then, as I talked about, our now Redeemer, Emmanuel, is going to walk us through the process of how to heal our energy field, so that the kingdom can return, and so that we can be in this balance and alignment that we were meant to be in. And that requires us being taken through a refiner's fire, the redemption process. That is our refiner's fire. And so through this process, the tares are burned and they're cast into the abyss. And you'll see the abyss down here. So what is the abyss? Once you go through this process with Yahshua, if you do not go through this with Yahshua, it's not a permanent process. It's not something that will remain. These things will continue to resurface. So when you go through it directly with Yahshua for the right reasons, not because you were forced or pushed or, placed in fear to go through this process, whatever it is, you allow Emmanuel to take you through this process. And when these tears within our heart centers, these can be from sexual abuse, traumas, abandonment, rejection, betrayal, any of those things, as he walks us through them, each step by step, they are cast into the abyss. And what does the abyss represent? So the abyss represents matter that no longer exists. It is finished, healed, it is purged out of us and destroyed. When we do this with him, it is not placed in a recycle bin to resurface at another time. It is healed. Let the past go, we let the past go and continue on with our eternal progression in the present. In the present moment, that what we do may have purpose and meaning and not just going through the motions. So when we are out of alignment in our heart center, there are things where we will just go through the motions. How many people are in religion right now and they are in a spiritual death state and they just go through the motions of going to church? They go through the motions of reading their scriptures. They go through the motions of praying. It's a checklist. They do the checklist. They're spiritually out of balance. Okay, so when we go through this refiner's fire, the tares are burned and cast into the abyss, destroyed forever, and then refined into that, and then what was torn within our energy field is refined back into purified gold. So with each step that you take, it's the tapestry, okay? And now it's being weaved back together in the correct energy of male and female. So then these tares begin to be healed and they begin to be reconnected, okay, within our energy field. So this is step by step. This is a process. It does not happen all at once. This is where the work is required. And the work required is the daily, meditation as Joshua walks you through this process, dancing in the spiritual. So you turn on the music and you literally just allow your spirit to take over, evaluating your heart daily. Why? Because it will show you the broken areas within your heart. And then our tapestry, which is this, our energy field represents our tapestry, is put back together into a healed state, which the healed state over here of this, okay? So when we do this, let me see. Instead of being just led in our just going through the motions of everyday life, we become heart and spirit led. So everything that we do begins to have purpose and meaning behind it, because we are heart and spirit led. Okay. And why is it so important to heal our heart and our energy field? Because we do not want to be stuck in the past. Remember this: when voices come taunting you, it is finished, let it go. see the lessons and growth, the good that came from it, and remember that it is finished and move forward. So when our heart gets to the point that we've allowed Emmanuel to walk us through this process. Okay. Then what happens is that this energy, so you'll see in a heart center, so I have the energy, and they are always opposite of one another. So we have spiritual is male, which is father, and we have physical, which is female, which is mother. And then over here we have emotional, which again is female, mother, and we have mental, which is male, again, father. So when these energy fields start to respond in the way that they're supposed to, the energy begins to flow freely, unrestricted. Okay, so then you'll have your emotional and your mental, they're working together as one, okay? So that energy begins to flow of male and female energy within us. And it connects in the center. And what is the center again? The center is love and compassion. So it begins to flow once again in our very essence of love and compassion of what we were created with. So if you look at this, okay, you have energy flowing both directions. So you have it emotionally and mentally, and we talked about it's also the 4 directions, the 4 seasons, the 4 elements, and then the 4 emotional, physical, mental, and spiritual. So when this happens, if you turn the DNA strand this way, like the womb, remember we had the womb, the spine this way, and then like this with the womb, and then we turned it this way, vertical and horizontal. Okay, so then it begins to, and I probably should have done that vertical and horizontal, the position, so I should have had it off like they've showed me. So it goes like this. So then it flows up and down and side to side. So actually we're going to do that so that you can see how this works. Okay, so you have your heart center right here. Sorry, that paper's probably right in the way. Okay, so then you have, then flip these, so here, 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 and here. Oops, dang it. So this energy is going to flow unrestricted. And sorry, that is not very good. And then this energy is going to flow both directions, okay, with our heart center. So again, that needed to have been that way. But then these energies flow unrestricted, and it meets in the middle. Okay, so our heart becomes healed in creation balance as the energy of male and female energy once again flows unrestricted through our heart center, and it flows vertical and horizontal, okay, within our body. And at that point, when this occurs, then we are in full alignment with our heart center, and we are once again fully dialed into heaven and into that throne room. And then at this point, when our heart center is healed, the heaven becomes that sea of glass, and the messages, the frequency, everything comes through crystal clear. It's that dial being perfectly tuned into heaven, and the dial is spinning. It doesn't matter what direction you're hitting, whether it's the physical, mental, spiritual, or emotional, or the 4 chambers of our hearts, the east, the south, the west, and the north. It doesn't matter. It's hitting all areas because you're in perfect alignment. Okay, so brothers and sisters, I hope that helps us understand more fully how to heal our heart centers and why it's so important for daily meditation, evaluating our hearts, and being in that place of true meditation and quietness and reflection, inner reflection. This is the inner work, and doing the inner work, because we cannot function at our full capacity until we have done the inner work to have our energy fields, as displayed behind me, in full alignment. And that is how our candlestick becomes fully lit. So food for thought. Take to Joshua and Father and Mother, and have a glorious day.